Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Good morning to Dr. Firdaus and to all my fellow classmates. So today we're presenting on Persyarikatan Ulama. So my name is Muhammad Anas bin Abdul Razak. So my fellow friends, what is Persyarikatan Ulama? And who is the founder of Persyarikatan Ulama? So today I will present about the founder of Persyarikatan Ulama, about his family and also his educational background. So the founder of Persyarikatan Ulama is Haji Abdul Halim. His original name is Otong Shatori. He was born on 26 June 1887 in Majalengka, West Java. He was the youngest of 8 siblings. Iloh Mardia, Empun Koptia, Empun Sodaria, Jubaidi, Iping Maisara, Hidayat, Siti Saadia, and Otong Shatori alias Abdul Halim. Actually, Abdul Halim, he came from a religious family. His father is Kiai Haji Muhammad Iskandar, who is the penghulu of Jatiwangi, and his mother is Siti Mutmainnah binti Imam Safari. He was a fatherless since his childhood. Halim was grown up under his mother's supervision. His mother strictly guides Halim's life under religious values. He never enrolled into a formal school. At the age of 10, he was sent by his mother to study Al-Quran to a popular Kiai, religious Islamic scholar in Cedras. When he was in Cedras, Shatori not only studied Al-Quran but also learned reading and writing Latin words as well as Dutch to a Christian pastor Verhaven. Since the age 11, Shatori started to deeply learn Islamic religion from pesantren, which is Islamic boarding school, to another pesantren. So, firstly, he studied at pesantren Lontang Jaya, Panjalin, to learn Qiraat and also Tajweed. After he graduated, he moved to pesantren Bobos to study Arabic literatures and moved again to pesantren Ciwidey. After he graduated, he continued his study to pesantren Kanayangan and finally he returned back to pesantren Ciwidey. When he turned 21 years old, his mother called him to come back to his hometown Jatiwangi, Majalengka. When he arrived in Jatiwangi, he married with Siti Murbijah. Murbijah was the last daughter of Muhammad Ilyas, who is the penghulu of Landrat in Majalengka. Shatori and Murbijah are still having family relationship. Their marriage had double meanings that are not only perform Sharia Islam but also strengthen family relationship. He had 4 sons and 3 daughters: Muhammad Toha, Siti Fatimah, Siti Mahriyah, Abdul Aziz, Siti Halimah, Abdul Karim, and Toto Taufik. In 1908, Shatori went to Mecca for pilgrimage as well as continued his study there. He exposed to the idea of Jamaluddin al-Afghani and Muhammad Abduh. His education periods in Mecca at the same time with his friends from Sumatra, such as Mas Mansur, Abdul Wahab, Sanusi, and others. They studied to the same teachers. Among Shatory's teachers in Mecca are Ahmad Khatib and Ahmad Hayyat. Besides these two popular teachers, Shatory also mentioned other religious teachers such as Shakib Arslan and Tansawi Jauhari. Shatory studied in Mecca for 3 years. K. Haji Abdul Halim, he impressed with two modern educational institutions, which is Babu Salam near Mecca and another in Jeddah. Both of these educational institutions have abolished the Halakha system and changed it to the modern classes and curricula equipped with chairs and desks. These two educational institutions was the example for him to change the traditional education system in his native area, Majalengka. He was fetched by his family in 1911. When he returned back to Indonesia, he has never used his name, Otong Shatori, but he changed his name by Abdul Halim until he passed away. So that's all for me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name Aiman bin Abu Bakar. Uh, before I start, before this, my friend Anas, brother Anas, has briefed in detail about the founder of the Persyarikatan Ulama. And now I will talk and share about his career, sacrifice, effort, and achievement of the founder of Persyarikatan Ulama, which is Kiai Haji Abdul Halim. Okay, I will start the timeline from when he returning to his homeland from Makkah. Is in 1911. In 1911, upon returning to his homeland, he refused an offer from his in-law, namely Kiai Haji Muhammad Ilyas, to become an officer in the Priyayi. As we know, Kiai Haji Abdul Halim married his wife Siti Murbiyah, the daughter of the daughter of head of Majalengka at that time, Penghulu. So their wife family is active officer in the Priyayi. Priyayi is like government at that time. So why he refused to the offer? Because Abdul Halim, K. Haji Abdul Halim, who felt that he was not from a Priyayi, wanted to prove that by not being Priyayi people, he could serve the community too. Which means he want to prove and to show to the others that when we as a normal people also can contribute and uh, give something to the community. This attitude was influenced by his teacher, which is Sheikh Ahmad Khatib, his teacher in Makkah, who also did not want to work in the colonial system and chose to continue to stay in Makkah. This kind of character, the character of K. Haji Abdul Halim and his teacher, actually this character is from he studied in pesantren in their childhood until he studied in Makkah. Uh, at his time study in pesantren, K. Haji Abdul Halim is very independent by selling a variety of daily needs such as perfume, book, kitab, batik, art and craft, or others, which is independent. K. Haji Abdul Halim aspires to improve the future of Muslims, and then he began to make improvement to raise the level of society. This improvement effort is gone through education and economic structuring. Yes, he focused on education and economic structuring. So how did he try to improve these two these two things? Is education and economic. First, he started his effort with uh, an organization, which is an organization in the field of economics and education was successfully founded by Kiai Haji Abdul Halim in 1911. Was named Hayatul Qulub, his first organization, Hayatul Qulub. This organization intended to assist members and compete with Chinese trader because at that time Chinese trader is very actively and have counter that place than the Muslim trader because the government at that time too is from the Dutch. They is give benefit more to the Chinese trader. Uh, but but this organization does not last long. Why? Later I will talk about it. Okay, in the field of education, he formed Majlis Al-Ilmi in 1912, and in 1915 he also built the Jama'iyat Ya'anatul Muta'allimin School, which means persatuan membantu guru-guru. Satu is one initiative for who want to be a teacher, like IPG. Why he actively create a new organization. So before this, he has created Hayatul Qulub. But as I said before, Hayatul Qulub did not last long because the colonial government was banned. Uh, this Hayatul Qulub was banned because it was considered to trigger riot. Many Chinese trader report or but he continued to carry activity even though they were not given an official name, which meant illegal at that time. In the field of education, like he from Majlis Al-Ilmi, like kuliah atau to spread dakwah, and 1915 he built Jam'iyah I'anatul Muta'allimin to create more teacher, which became this Jam'iyah I'anatul Muta'allimin became the center of modern Islamic education in the Majalengka. Jadi in his place. To improve the quality of school, Kiai Haji Abdul Halim is associated with Jamiat Khair and Al-Irsyad, with another association, another organization. Jamiat I'anatul Muta'allimin, he collect with Jamiat Khair and Al-Irsyad to bring a good quality, to improve the quality of the school. The organization later changed to Persyarikatan Ulama. This time, the story of Persyarikatan Ulama was legally recognized by the government in 1917. First, First organization is Hayatul Qulub, and then Majlisul Ilmi, and then Jam'iyat I'anatul Muta'allimin. And then fourth organization, he changed and get the legal to manage this Persyarikatan Ulama with the help of Haji Omar Said Tujokro Aminoto. He is president of Syarikat Islam. With his help, the Persyarikatan Ulama, which the originally of Persyarikatan Ulama is from Hayatul Qulub. He is changed by name and changed because of something. Okay. Uh, in 1919, after Persyarikatan Ulama was legally recognized, in 1919, Quit School was established to create teacher. This Quit School is from the Dutch, Belanda, the Dutch school to create teacher and was finally converted into Madrasah Darul Ulum. And Kiai Haji Abdul Halim achieved success to change the Quit School into Madrasah Darul Ulum. It is just like IPG in Malaysia. In April 1932, Kiai Haji Abdul Halim established the Pesantren Santi Asrama, which was built far from the bustling city of Majalengka. The president of the Pesantren Santi Asrama, this pesantren, which is from Kiai Haji Abdul Halim, has succeeded in changing the pesantren curriculum by leaving the traditional education, which traditional education like halaqah, sit in circle system that only specialize in religious subject. So the change is the pesantren Santi Asrama is cover in many things, religious, skill, gardening, building, and so on. In 1937, Kiai Haji Abdul Halim was also elected as a member of the board of the Indonesian A'la Islamic Council. In Indonesia, it's called A'la Majelis Islam A'la Indonesia. Majelis Islam A'la Indonesia. He was elected as a member of the board. Organization that joined this Majelis Islam A'la Indonesia, there consist of many organizations, which is Persyarikatan Ulama from Kiai Haji Abdul Halim, and also Muhammadiyah from his friend from Makkah, Nahdlatul Ulama. Yes, these two that we have known by present in other other class. Also, there are Al-Ittihadiyatul Islamiyah and other Islamic organizations. This many organization is put in one council, which is Majelis Islam A'la Indonesia. This organization engage in social, religious, and educational field. But during the Japanese era, they were forced to stop their activity because all political parties and social associations must be disbanded, and Japan does not allow the development of democracy. However, it did not take long for this organization to be permitted by Japan to resume its activity. When Majelis Islam A'la Indonesia was changed in 1943, 1943 to Masyumi. Masyumi is Partai Masyumi or Parti Masyumi ini Majelis Syuro Undang-Undang Indonesia. Majelis Syuro Undang-Undang Indonesia. A majlis to create an undang-undang, to change undang-undang law. On 1st February 1944, Persyarikatan Ulama changed its name to the Association of Muslims. They translation to English. The original is Perikatan Umat Islam. The spelling is OEMAT. Perikatan Umat Islam, which the change of Indonesian spelling, yakni Umat, the spelling change, and then it became Persatuan Umat Islam, PUI. Persatuan Umat Islam. Perikatan Umat Islam. Is association, perikatan. As for the organization, founded in 1931 by Kiai Haji Ahmad Sanusi in Sukabumi, was named Al-Ittihadiyatul Islamiyah. And then this Al-Ittihadiyatul Islamiyah was renamed to Indonesian Islamic Community Association, which is Persatuan Umat Islam Sedunia. Which was founded, this persatuan founded by Kiai Haji Ahmad Sanusi. The organization was an organization engaged in social education sector. According to Mr. Shamsuddin was founder of Nadatul Ulama or Muhammadiyah, if I'm not mistaken. That the two organizations, according to Mr. Shamsuddin, the two organizations, which is uh, Persyarikatan Ulama and the new name of Persyarikatan Ulama is Persatuan Umat Islam. Persatuan Umat Islam and Persatuan Umat Islam Indonesia. These two organizations have the same vision and mission, that is to unite Indonesian Muslim for the future, but to stand in a different organization. So Mr. Shamsuddin brought the two organizations together at a meeting. The first meeting was in August 1951, and the second meeting in November 1951. Then, on April 5 April 1952, the two organizations officially become one, with the name of the Islamic Union, which in Indonesia it called Persatuan Umat Islam. Uh, the Persyarikatan Ulama change to Perikatan Umat Islam, not Persatuan. So the big organization is Persatuan Umat Islam, which is consist of Perikatan Umat Islam and Persatuan Umat Islam Indonesia. This Persatuan Umat Islam is located in Bandung, and then during the Japanese invasion, not the Dutch, Belanda. Before this, Belanda, Kiai Haji Abdul was appointed as a member of Ginchuo Sangein. What is this? Ginchuo Sangein. This is Japanese word. Which means Ginchuo Sangein means Dewan Pertimbangan Pusat, or in Malaysia like Dewan Rakyat. Its role is to suggest and to give improvement in Parliament in Jakarta, and later he was also appointed as a member of Dokuritsu Ziyunbi Chosakai. This also is the Japanese word. In English, we call investigation agency for the preparation of Indonesian independence. This is before the Independent Day. So in Indonesia, we call Badan Penyelidik Usaha-usaha Persiapan Kemerdekaan Indonesia. That was Dokuritsu Ziyunbi Chosakai. After the proclamation of independence proclamation, Kiai Haji Abdul Halim was appointed. Kiai Haji Abdul Halim, besides he is active in great organizations like Majlisul Ilmi, Hayatul Qulub, Jam'iyah I'anatul Muta'alimin, Persyarikatan Ulama and health. He also active in uh, uh, in uh, in many organizations, in many positions. He is big their contribution to Islam in Indonesia. Again, he was appointed as a member of the Central Indonesian National Committee. In Indonesia, we call Komite Nasional Indonesia Pusat. Komite Nasional Indonesia Pusat. This community in the National Indonesia Pusat, which function as a parliament and become a pioneer in the establishment of the Islamic University Yogyakarta. Yani University Islam Indonesia Yogyakarta. In 1951, again he was elected. He was elected as a member of the West Java DPRD1. What is DPRD? DPRD in Indonesia is Dewan Perwakilan Rakyat Daerah West Java, Jawa Barat lah. Okay. Dewan Perwakilan Rakyat Daerah. Daerah is being the member. And then in 1956, the election of the Constituent Assembly, Kiai Haji Abdul Halim was elected as a member of the Masyumi Party. As we know before, Masyumi, Majelis Syura Muslimin, Majelis Syura Muslimin Indonesia, Partai Masyumi, politik. And then before that, in 1950, he was with K. Haji Abdul Ambari, facing the advisor for Indian Affairs, which named Dr. J.F. Fijper in Jakarta to submit several demands concerning the interests of Muslims. During the Dutch military aggression, before the Japanese era, Kiai Haji Abdul Halim also strongly opposed the establishment of the Pasundan state, which was founded in 1948 by the Dutch. What is Pasundan state? Pasundan state is a new country at that time in 1948 that was founded by Dutch or Belanda. A country that founded by Dutch, but it is not last a long time. Pasundan state is in now in Indonesia. Okay, so K. Haji Abdul Halim strongly opposed the establishment of the Pasundan state. This is one of his sacrifice and his effort to Indonesia. Okay, so and he died on 1962 at age of 74 or 72. So considering his service to such a large country such Indonesia, the Indonesia government established K. Haji Abdul Halim as a pioneer of independence, which means perintis kemerdekaan. Like we have Bapa Kemerdekaan, Bapa Pembangunan, Bapa. So he's a perintis kemerdekaan. In addition, several service stars were also pinned by the government to K. Haji Abdul Halim, namely Satyalancana Commemoration, Satyalancana Commemoration of the Struggle of Independence. This is English translation. So the Indonesia translate Indonesia word is Satyalancana, peringatan perjuangan kemerdekaan. Hmm. He got two word. Ini Satyalancana, peringatan perjuangan kemerdekaan, and Satyalancana, kebudayaan, cultural. And he also got the highest star, yakni from President Soeharto award him the Man Mahaputra Star, which bintang Mahaputra Utama, bintang Mahaputra Utama as a form of state appreciation for his service. And they from President Soeharto and from President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono on 6 November 2008 has awarded him K. Haji Abdul Halim as a national hero, which means K. Haji Abdul Halim was pahlawan national of Indonesia. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Inshallah, I will continue uh, in this presentation. I will explain about the education system in Persyarikatan Ulama. My name is Muhammad SAFWAN bin GHAZALI, and I will explain about this topic. The education system at the time of the Persyarikatan Ulama led by KH Abdul Halim initially had two systems, namely the first is traditional education system or halaqah system, and the second is the modern education system. Let's move to traditional education system. The traditional education system initially consists of only halaqah. Traditional education system or halaqah system is also called the Western system, where the student take lesson by sitting around the qiyai in the room and the qiyai explaining the material in lecture. The halaqah or Western system is the oldest system in pesantren and is certainly the core of teaching in a pesantren. The student listen to their respective books and made notes on their books to validate that the knowledge had been given by the qiyai. The study begins in the mosque, surau and langgar by studying the Quran, the book of Sufism, Aqidah, Fiqh and Arabic. What is the meaning of langgar? Langgar is referred to a small mosque where reciting or commonly referred to as a surau. In Arabic, is known as musalla. Pesantren also cannot be separate from the mosque because it has become a central part that enliven the pesantren, which give a religious or spiritual feel to the continuity of the pesantren. Let's move to modern education system. KH Abdul Halim was impressed that at the two educational institutions when performing his pilgrimage, namely Babus Salam close to the city of Mecca and the other in Jeddah. KH Abdul Halim was inspired by these two institutions so that the halaqah or traditional system was abolished and instead organized classes and arranged curriculum using benches and desks. These institutions are an example for KH Abdul Halim would later change his traditional education system which is halakha system, to a more modern education system in his native area after KH Abdul Halim returned to his homeland. The modern education system is an educational model that uses classroom using benches and desks, thus abandoning the old system or the traditional system which is halakha. Modern, or also called progressive, is adjective used in education that embrace classical Islam, which are guide and or organized in the form of class division and long-term period with the reorganization in more effective learning procedure. In conclusion, based on education system, with the reform that he applied in organizations such as the abolition of the halakha system, the grouping of learning which is classes, not only gaining religious knowledge but also other knowledge. The teaching of this skill greatly impact the for the development of education itself. If we look today, there are many educational organizations that mimic the method used by KH Abdul Halim at that time. Madrasah today not only teach religious knowledge in their curriculum, but also social sciences, mathematics, and language are also available. That's all for me. We proceed to next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening to our lecturer and our friends. My name is Muhammad AMSYAR bin BAHARUDIN. So today I will presenting about thoughts and writings of Persyarikatan Ulama. So before that, I am sorry because I have problem in recording the video of myself presenting this part, but I can only record of my voice presenting this part. So without further ado, let's continue. The points of thoughts and writings of Persyarikatan Ulama. So basically, the founder of this association of Persyarikatan Ulama, or Kiai Haji Abdul Halim, was said to be a scholar and also a writer who is considered quite productive, as some of his writings were published among the members of Persyarikatan Ulama in the form of brochures and pamphlets, but most of them were destroyed during the Dutch aggression in Indonesia. And among of his work are number 1, Risalah Petunjuk bagi Sekalian Manusia, number 2, Ekonomi dan Koperasi dalam Islam, number 3, Ketetapan Pengajaran di Sekolah Ibtidaiyah Persyarikatan Ulama. So these 3 of his work were said to be still exist until this time. And the others of his works are Dakwatul Amal, Tarikh Islam, Neraca Hidup, Risalah Ijtimaiyah wa Ilajuha, Kitab Tafsir Tabarak, Kitab 262 Hadis Indonesia, Bab Rizq, and more of others. In addition, for printing publication, Persyarikatan Ulama also publish magazines including Suara Persyarikatan Ulama, Suara Islam, Asyura, and Pengetahuan Islam. They also publish other printed works in Sundanese language, which known as Miftahus Sa'adah. In addition, the association also publish news-related media and said as newspaper like Al-Muallim, Pemuda, and Petunjuk Jalan Kebenaran, Haq. Most likely, these media were published in the Sundanese language due to the increasing activities in the Sunda not far from the Majalengka. From the numbers of media and printing publication from this association, it can be seen the tendencies from their founder, or Kiai Haji Abdul Halim's ideas and ambition, which is come from his interpretation of the concept of As-Salam. This is because, according to his interpretation, Islam contains teachings that aim to guide the people so that they can live safely in this world and obtain prosperity in the hereafter. So these 2 aspects are known as As-Salam. Based on this understanding, he saw that the well-being of life in the hereafter is closely related to the safeness of life in the world. This is because in order to obtain a prosperous life in the hereafter, the human beings itself must face safe in the world by following the guidance and command of the religion. Further throughout his thoughts, Kiai Haji Abdul Halim conclude his thought on the concept of life related to religion, education, and well-being. Those concepts mentioned are number one, the concept of as-salam itself. As mentioned before, the concept of as-salam is an attempt to ensure the safeness of life in the world and the life in the hereafter. So, Kiai Haji Abdul Halim compiled his theory of improvement measures of life, covering 8 areas which is called as 8 improvement or Islah As-Samaniyah. Those 8 areas of improvement are number 1, improvement of belief or Islah Al-Aqidah, which is aimed to prevent people from avoiding acts that tend to worship other than Allah. Number 2, the improvement of worship or Islah Al-Ibadah, which aim to give example or role model on how to perform worship or ibadah as taught by the Prophet Muhammad SAW. Number 3, improvement of education or Islah Al-Talbiyah. According to Kiai Haji Abdul Halim, the ideal education improvement is an education that successfully combine the traditional education system or known as pesantren with modern education, which is already applied in the governmental school on that time. Number 4, improvement of the family, which he thought that family is one of the important element. So he viewed that the family life is a good field to begin to improve and to revive the religious soul and the spirit for the people from the family. Number 5, the improvement of custom or Islah Al-Adah, which aim to adjust the custom accordingly with the religious teaching. Like men must wear the proper shirt or sarung and songkok, and as for women, must wear the proper kebaya and also hijab. Number 6, the improvement of community, and number 7, improvement of economy, where he encouraging to fight the laziness, giving the awareness in the community to do work worthily, and to cultivate the determination to live better than the colonial. And lastly, the number 8, the improvement of the ummah relationship or Islah al-Ummah, which is the people should help each other in facing all the problems of life in the country. Number 2 of the concept of life from the Kiai Haji Abdul Halim is the concept of Santri Asrama. Kiai Haji Abdul Halim see that it is necessary to provide skills to the student on that time so that they will later live independently without having to depend on others or hoping to become a government employees. His idea was realized by establishing school of pesantren named as Santri Asrama in April 1942, which is located in Pasir Ayu village in Majalengka. Santri Asrama is a beginning of the modern boarding school, which is at that time had not yet been thought of in Indonesia. This establishment of pesantren is the result of the Persyarikatan Ulama Congress in Majalengka, which is motivated by Kiai Haji Abdul Halim dissatisfaction of the pesantren education system at that time. And in education, this establishment were driven by the fact that there are many local people who find it difficult to get a proper education in the school. And pesantren Santri Asrama is an example of the reformation of the pesantren curriculum on that time, because since its establishment, it has abandoned the traditional education system of pesantren that only specialize in providing religious studies. In addition to religious study, the students are also given the general syllabus and provided with skill education such as farming, carpentry, craft and others. Students are also required to stay in the dorm for 5 to 10 years. Its education emphasizes 3 elements, namely moral, social and economic, that turns out attracts a lot of public interest. And also the wealthy people flow to give the financial support to this pesantren. Next, the third concept introduced by Kiai Haji Abdul Halim is the concept of Santri Lucu, which came out from Abdul Halim thoughts that educational system must be able to shape the personality of students and provide opportunities for them to reach a position with trained skill related to agriculture, carpentry and business. So, the educational goal of Santri Asrama or the student of Asrama is to be a Santri Lucu, which is a student who has skill, knowledge and can work in various fields of life independently and is able to help others in need. He strictly mentioned that the Santri Lucu or the graduate of the Santri Asrama is the student who was skilled that can hold pen and also can hold hose in the same time. And lastly, the other concept introduced was the concept of intisab. This is another important concept of Abdul Halim and Persyarikatan Ulama in political terms, which was created as a counter doctrine aimed at the Japanese occupation government in that time. Because the Muslim in that time were forced to do a ritual or known as sakurai, or respecting the emperor of Japanese by bowing towards Tokyo. So Kiai Haji Abdul Halim see that this ritual was contradicting with the teaching of Islam. So for this purpose, Abdul Halim and a number of leaders from Persyarikatan Ulama came out with a special creed that based from Quran. He believed that this creed could preserve the people from disbelief or hypocrisy and politism. This creed formulated by Abdul Halim and the leaders of the Persyarikatan Ulama were written as the picture in this slide, which fully in Arabic. This creed was being read for the first time officially in the public on the celebration of Nuzul Quran by the Persyarikatan Ulama in 1942. And since that time, the creed has been continued to be read both at the official meetings and educational activities at the Persyarikatan Ulama schools, pesantren and other institutions. The creed also continued to be read after Persyarikatan Ulama renamed its association to the Perikatan Umat Islam. So that's all from us. Thank you.